Thank you, Linda. I'm afraid there's not much that I can add in addition to what the mayor has offered, and I leaned over to General Casey and apologized for bumping him in the order, and he said, that's okay because Rudy's a hard act to follow. But I will just take a couple of minutes to make a couple of observations. One of them is, why does this matter to Arizona? And as I watched the video that we all saw just a few minutes ago, I couldn't help but notice that I saw a bunch of flags waving for a neighbor that is all the way across the world, but looks a lot like a neighbor just south of us. The red, white, and green could just as easily be almost the Mexican flag. And how we treat our neighbors is very important. I learned my values from three places: my family, our church, and the Boy Scouts. And every Wednesday I'd go to Scout meeting and raise my arm and say the Scout law. And there are 12 things. But the second one is loyal. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I don't know how I've remembered those all these years, but I do. But focus on loyal. You know, when I was a teenager, 4 members of the Luong family in South Vietnam came to live in our home because the United States government did not step up in 1974, to commitments it made in 1973. I grew up thinking that the United States lost the war in Vietnam because refugees had to come live with us. Upon further study, I realized, and as I've been reminded by Vietnam veterans around this state, we won the Vietnam War in 1973 and left victorious with a ceasefire and a commitment for the United States to stand and protect South Vietnam if necessary. And when the North Vietnamese invaded in '74 and we didn't come to their aid, look what happened. So we have an opportunity, and it does matter to us here in Arizona. And we must be a part of standing with people throughout this country, of every color, of every race, of every religion, of every background, to make sure that we're loyal to the commitments that we have made and that we do not let this happen in Iran or anywhere else. Arizona cannot live with a nuclear Iran. Let me just close by reminding all of us, especially in the state of Arizona, we've lost so far 145 Arizonans in the war on terror. Now, the two that get most of the attention are probably Lori Paestua, the first female Native American killed in U.S. combat in our nation's history, and Pat Tillman. And tomorrow morning at 7:05, I, along with 38,000 other people, will run the Pat Tillman Run, 4.2 miles, ending up crossing the 42-yard line in Arizona State University Sun Devil Stadium. We cannot forget those 145. And we cannot forget the hundreds of thousands that are being slaughtered and have been slaughtered. And if you could stand in a group of 38,000 runners like I will do tomorrow, and think about multiplying that by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, then you begin to understand the magnitude of tens of thousands, now up to hundreds of thousands that have been killed. It cannot go on. It will not go on, and Arizona needs to be a part of making sure that it never goes on again. Thank you very much.